What's up guys, Nate Acosta here and I hope you're having a great day. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different. You know, most of the content here on my page is all about weddings and how epic they are, but today I wanted to take some time to actually focus on my small business owners. You know, a lot of people hit me up and they ask me, hey man, how are you creating your videos? Do you have a team? Are you shooting them yourself? Are you editing them? Like, how do you do it? And today I wanted to make this video to tell you my exact process of how I create my content for my Instagram page. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best at it, but I am going to admit that since I've been actually taking more of an effort in creating video content for my page, my business has really exploded. You know, people ask me all the time when they're looking to book, hey, do you have any video of what it's like when you come DJ a wedding? Or do you have a video of like how it is that your company DJs a wedding? And to be able to tell them, yeah, I actually have a ton of it is very, very helpful. So today I wanted to kind of walk you guys through my process, how I got started and how I do it today. So first things first, how did I get started creating the content? I used to try to rely on other vendors that were at my events, like the photographer, the videographer, but not always would they get me the footage. You know, they get busy, I get busy. Sometimes I'd forget to follow up, or maybe I would follow up and it just wouldn't happen. Although there are a lot of videographers and photographers that do send me content, there was quite a few that didn't do so either. So I kind of had to reconsider how I was going to do things, and I ended up just taking it into my own hands and started creating my own content so I didn't have to rely on other folks. So how did I get started? Well, I got started with this right here, my cell phone. And what I did was I went out to Amazon and I bought what's called a gimbal. Now, a gimbal allows you to stabilize your device. So whether it's a camera, cell phone, GoPro, whatever you plan on using. So I went out and bought a gimbal for my cell phone, and it really made a world of a difference. And a lot of the videos that I actually started creating for my page were done right on my cell phone. You know, if you think about it, your cell phone nowadays has a really good camera on it. And you don't need to go out and spend, you know, tons of money, especially if you're just getting started, to create good content. And I always tell people, some content is better than no content. Even if it's not professionally edited or shot, it's still content that you can still use for your business. So step number one, use your cell phone and record. Now, once I started recording on my cell phone, what I then did was I'm a Mac user, so I had iMovie. It was a free application on my MacBook, and I would just edit all my videos directly on there. Again, here's an example of something that I shot with my cell phone, edited it on iMovie, and that's how I would do content for a while. Now, later on, I wanted to kind of step my game up, right? So I knew a couple of my friends that were actually shooting really good content, was better than mine. So I reached out to them and asked them, hey man, what are you using? And a couple of my friends, shout out to DJ David Braz, as well as DJ Loso Adrian from Charlotte, North Carolina, they guided me in purchasing a Canon EOS M6 Mark II. Now, this is a small mirrorless cam that you can use. It's very compact, which I really liked it. And it also fit my budget. So that camera right there ended up costing me about $1,000. And it came with the standard lens, you know, that you can attach to the body of the camera. But then, you know, I was like, hey, what else should I purchase after speaking with them? And they both recommended to me that I should purchase a 50mm lens for that camera. So that's what I ended up going with. I ended up purchasing the Canon camera along with a 50mm lens. However, that 50mm lens was just a little bit too zoomed for me. So whenever I would try to actually shoot stuff of the dance floor, it was really compact. So it made it hard to kind of get those action shots. It was still a really good lens, but for me personally, I just didn't like how close zoomed in it was, right? I had to kind of stand back from the dance floor. And then at that point, I couldn't really get like faces and stuff. I was just realizing that a lot of my content was like from the outside of the dance floor. And I really wanted to get in and get those shots of the inside of the dance floor. So then I started doing some research and I ended up purchasing a 16mm Sigma lens directly from Amazon. That lens ended up costing me about $350. And then I also purchased a Shure shotgun microphone to capture audio. So that's actually what I'm using right now to record this video. I'm using my Canon EOS M6 Mark II with a 16mm Sigma lens and a Shure shotgun microphone. And this is what that setup looks like now. This is exactly what I use for all my events. The only other thing that I use with it is a gimbal. So same concept. concept that I used for my cell phone, I also purchased one for my camera. That way when I'm trying to get action shots, everything is nice and stabilized. So all in all, with the camera, the lens, the microphone, and the gimbal, I'm probably close to about $1,900, almost $2,000. It is a pretty big investment, but that definitely helped transform my business. Once I started creating better content, people really saw the work that we were putting in and they appreciated it. So that investment, if you can't make it right now, believe me, I didn't make it off the jump. I've literally been DJing since I was 15 years old. I'm 31 years old now. At the very beginning, there was no content that I was grabbing. I used my cell phone for content for probably a good 3 or 4 years before I really decided to take that leap and purchase a actual better camera. Now, the camera that I'm using isn't the greatest, right? There's a lot more expensive cameras that you can go out there and buy. There's also cameras that are a little bit less that you can buy. It really just kind of depends on your budget. So if $1,900 is outside of your budget, don't sweat it. Grab your cell phone, grab a gimbal, and start grabbing that content. So now let me walk you through how we actually produce the content. First things first, get to an event, we set up, George and Alex get the camera ready, and then they start capturing content. One big piece of advice though that I want to give you guys is if you are a DJ or if you're any other vendor who is not the hired photographer or videographer, make sure you introduce yourself to those people. Let them know what you're doing. Let them know that you're not going to step on their toes, that if you get in their way, they can feel free to kick you out of the way, but make sure that you keep that open communication with them. Personal experience. One time I was shooting content at a wedding and I ended up kind of getting on her bad side. It wasn't something that I did intentional, but I should have been more proactive in talking to her and letting her know what I did. So I apologized. I let her know like, look, hey, I'm sorry. It won't happen again. So second thing that we do is once we capture all of the footage, I personally have an editor who now edits all of my footage. So he edits all of my promotional videos. I add them to a Dropbox, a Google Drive, or another program called WeTransfer. I send those over to him. He edits them. Usually it takes about 2 or 3 days, and then he sends it back to me for approval. Once I approve it, then we post it on our social media accounts. Now, how can you find an editor to work for you? Well, if you know a videographer, hit them up. They may give you a good rate on editing your videos if they don't have to go out there and capture the content. Or you could be like me and use a website called Fiverr.com or Upwork.com. So I used to use Fiverr.com for a lot of different stuff that I needed. You can find graphic designers, you can find people to do your DJ drops. Literally, there is somebody for everybody on Fiverr.com, and the pricing is very, very reasonable. Or you could use Upwork.com, which is the one that I actually found my editor on. And the cool thing about Upwork that's different from Fiverr is that you actually create your job posting. So whatever job posting you're trying to look for, if you need a virtual assistant, if you need a video editor like I did. So I literally just went on there, I created a job listing that said like create promotional videos for a DJ company. Another nice thing about Upwork is that you can set your own budget. So I set my monthly budget, and then what it does is it sends that job listing out to all the freelancers that are on the website, and then they apply to your job. You can schedule a phone call with them. You can schedule a video conference. You can look at their work. So it's really cool because it gives you a lot of different options, and then you can just pick the one that best fits your needs. So to recap, guys, how we do it. We show up to an event, we set up, my assistant grabs the footage, I load the footage onto a cloud-based drive, and then I send it to the editor, and the editor sends it back to me, and I post it. Now, why do I use an editor? 1, because I suck at editing. 2, I just don't have the time to edit. Editing takes a long time, especially if you're new to it. It's probably something that I could sit down and learn, but honestly, I don't enjoy it, so I just pay somebody to do it for me. And that's something, as a business owner that you're gonna have to realize, you can't literally do everything. And I'm not saying to go out there and spend, $1,000 a month on someone to edit your videos, but find your budget and set it, and then you can find someone that can help you out with that. Well, guys, I hope you found this information beneficial. If you have any questions, if you need any help, if you need ideas for your content, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'm always willing to help where I can. But anyways, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Also, follow me on Instagram at DJ Nate Acosta. And if you're a couple that's watching this, I appreciate you checking this video out. If you need a DJ, hit us up on the web, dnaeventservices.com. My team and I are standing by to make your wedding epic. Or if you'd prefer to reach out to us through email, you can always email us at info@dnaeventservices.com. All right, guys, until next time.